Good afternoon. It's good to be up here on a Monday morning or Monday midday, and after the results on Saturday. Winning's hard, and as you prepare each week for the opportunity to play, you always have in your back of your mind, hey, we're going to win this game. But winning's hard, and the battle, I knew the game that we had on Saturday was going to come down to a fourth quarter. It was going to be a fourth quarter game, much like it's been the last 2 years that we have faced UTSA. So I told our kids it's going to be a four-quarter game, man, and it's going to either the offense is going to have to step up and go score in the fourth quarter, defense is going to have to stop them. It was going to be a fourth quarter game, and it was. And we were determined as a team to make sure that we came away with the win. We talked about it in preparation throughout the week that we were not going to be denied and that we were going to come away with a W at all cost. I'm proud of our staff. I'm proud of our players. The resilience they've showed, the resolve throughout this to keep fighting and keep playing with determination to go out and win, and felt like we could get a win on Saturday night. I felt it during the week. I saw it in their preparation and in practice, and I especially saw it on Thursday. And it's funny because Coach Kosh mentioned to me in practice after practice Thursday that, hey, this looks like a Division I practice. Guys are bouncing around. Guys are flying around. There was nobody standing still. Guys were moving from drill to drill, period to period, on and off the field. And even the reporter that was there that was commentating the game, broadcasting the game, he had mentioned, he goes, you guys look a lot different than I had seen before. So I knew there was a change. There was something different. And I saw it in their eyes on Friday night in our meeting as we talked about the game and what was going to happen. And then Saturday, as we prepared throughout the day to get ready to execute the game on Saturday night. Now, that's what gave me the time. I kind of thought it was the right moment to break out, lock the gate, and to break out the chain and the lock, and what I was expecting them to do that night. And it was in the pregame meal when I broke it out, pushed it up, held it up high, and showed them that this is the time. This is a team that we can beat, that we need to beat, but we have to go in with a determined mind, determined soul, that we were not going to be denied. And I explained to them what it was, and what they had heard previously, where it came from. I had used it before, but I thought this was the time. In the West Kentucky game and in the Marshall game, the improvement we saw as a team, things that we were doing well, I thought this was the time. So we broke it out, talked about it. I handed the chain to Austin Orr and Anthony Wallace and said, it's your job as a defense to lock the gate behind offense. It's your job to make sure you put points on the field. And special teams, your job to create some plays and field position for us to give us a chance to win. And they really took to it. And I think they were fired up about it. In the locker room pregame, Coach C gets a little excited. I was running around with the chain in my hand and was issuing the challenge to our team to make sure that we lock the gate and we don't let them out until we're finished, until we're done, until we got a W. And that was the task at hand. Do not let them leave the field until we have the W. So I'm awful proud of our staff for doing that. And I felt like all three phases contributed to our win: offensively, defensively, and special teams. Everyone contributed. Defense with a touchdown, the block PAT, which allowed us to get the 2 points, special teams wise with a good return, offense putting points on the board. So I felt like we were all 10 units strong, offensively, defensively, and then our special teams. Offensive line played much more physical. You saw it. We were a physical group. We ran the ball with confidence, which allowed us to do some things both in the run and the pass. But you really saw our offensive linemen assert themselves in the run game, both with Jeffrey Wilson and DeMarcus Smith both. Wilson ran with a lot of determination. He was determined. You could see it in his eye. He wanted the ball. Coach, keep giving me the ball. Keep giving me the ball. I want it. I'll put it in the end zone for it. And it was nice to see him finally get his touchdown that he's been craving and starving for. DeMarcus is getting better. He is. We saw it. Kind of saw him grow up on the run there a little bit. But he's got to continue to get better in the pass game. We've got to be able to create some more pass yards for ourselves, and we've got to hit some open receivers. We had one drop, but we have a couple guys open, and we need to make sure we hit those passes. So he's got to continue to get better there. Defense showed great grit. I'm talking about grit, kind of a bend, don't break, and then they would bow themselves up and not be denied and make sure they were getting off the field. It was a big thing for us on third down to get them off the field, and in critical situations, they got ourselves off the field. And I think it had a lot to do with our team on the sideline, those that weren't dressed but in jerseys, and those on the sideline. I wasn't going to allow anybody to sit on the bench unless they were playing on offense and just come off a series. I wanted everybody on the field. I wanted fist up. I want them to be involved in the game. They're there for a reason, to help support our team. And it was no more apparent in the last series when everybody was off the bench, on the sideline, cheering and supporting our team so that we could get in the most famous formation of all, and that's victory. So I compliment our defensive staff on preparing our kids. Special teams, we won every phase except for the field goal. That was the only one we lost. And it's unfortunate we didn't hit that field goal. It was critical. But we never quit fighting, and we still kept playing, and I'm proud of Trevor. I think he'll bounce back. I know he was out there working on it yesterday on his own, making sure he gets that plant foot corrected. But the bottom line is this, man, we got the win, and that's all I care about right now. And we talked about it yesterday as a team, that are we going to be satisfied with one when we know that we have 4 left, and see if we can go get number 2. And that's been our focus as we prepare for tomorrow's second practice as we get ready for La Tech.
Why was the preparation so much different last week?
Well, I think you saw the improvement as a team, from the West Kentucky game under difficult situations into the Marshall game where the defense really bowed up after the first quarter. And even Larry Coker said it to me when we talked before the game. Mike, this is a whole different team. This isn't the team that we've seen on film. Doc Holliday said it to us after the game. They're playing harder, and I think it's because we're a little bit fresher. I've cut back time frame on the field in terms of practice. I want them fresh. I want them playing with great speed, and I think it's important that we do that. And when you do that and you keep our players fresh, and that's what we're trying to do, it allows them to play fast. And they're playing faster, and they're playing with some confidence.
What difference is winning a game really made for these guys, how much you've seen them?
Well, we talked about it as a group that when we win this game, when we win our first game, we're going to celebrate like it was a Super Bowl. And we did. I mean, we had guys sitting in the stands. We had guys that were celebrating. I'm on the bench, jumping up and down and thanking the student body that were there and the band for their contribution. And then we took a team picture down there on the field. I thought it was for them to understand how important winning is, and it's fun and it's exciting, and you want that taste again. And don't be satisfied with just getting 1. Let's go try to get number 2. So I think all that culminated to, hey, we can do this. And then the locker room celebration was just unbelievable. I mean, the excitement. And I said, don't forget what it tastes like. Don't forget what it feels like. And let's go try to get number 2. And I think that's what winning does for you. And even though, we're 1-7, next game we're 0-0 as we go. Let's go get a win, see if we can get number 2. But that's the mindset as we prepare this week.
You mentioned that Jeffrey Wilson rushed for 100 yards just the second straight week. You said the offensive line was physical. What allowed them to be so dominant up front?
Once again, it comes back to I think we were fresher. I mean, we and even the kids are saying it now. Our players are saying it now. Our players are saying it now. They feel fresh. They feel like they can go out and give 100%. When we go to practice, there's no pacing because we're having longer practices or whatnot. I want to get them on and off the field. We get our number of plays in, move to the next period. It's not so much on time frame. It's almost that NFL mentality. Get the plays in, go to the next period. Get the plays in, go to the next period, and move it crisply along. And I think our players understand that it's about executing the plays, move to the next drill, make sure you're going at full speed so when it comes game time, you can play it that fast and you're not tired. And we weren't tired. And I tried to make sure I gave them a little extra sleep on Saturday. I let them sleep in probably an extra 45 minutes. And then we did a quick walk because it was raining, so we did a walk into the parking garage. And then our walkthroughs were sharp, and you could just see our kids were antsy to go play. I kind of had to calm them down a little bit because they were anxious to go, but they were definitely fresh.
Was DeMarcus's the second fumble, the one that went out for the touchback? Was that a case of just again trying to do too much instead of taking what's there?
Exactly. I asked him yesterday when we were watching the film. I said, "Do you know how to slide?" And he kind of was hesitating. I go, "Listen, B.J. Daniels, South Florida, did not know how to slide. I had to take him over to the softball field, and the girls taught him how to slide. B.J. Daniels, he had no clue. I said, if I need to do that, we can go to the softball field. I'm sure Coach will help you teach you how to slide. So, and I think it was just trying to make the big play. Obviously, trying to make ESPN top 10 or something like that instead of making the right play. You got to hit the floor, and slide. So he made the not for top 10 yesterday in our own meeting. So I think he learned from that one.
And how do you balance the two? Because you don't want to take away his playmaking ability, but you can't have plays like that either.
Exactly, and we talked about I'm going to put him through the shoots tomorrow in practice. He doesn't know what the shoots are. He'll learn tomorrow what the shoots are and how to take care of the football. But I think it just comes with his ability to create plays. There's a couple times he should have handed off, kept it, make some guys miss, and get down the field and get us some positive yards. But at the same time, he's got to understand what the right play is, and that's getting down and making sure we keep the ball, especially down there in the red zone. I mean, when he's running down the sideline, when it comes out of his hand, it comes out of his arms because he has sleeves on. So we cut the sleeves off at halftime. And I said, you will never play with sleeves again. It's not about looking good, it's about playing good. And so I think he coached, I agree with you, I've got to have that friction. And it just literally, because the ball was held low instead of held high and tight, and we'll continue to do those drills.
Just need to break through. Is that the whole thing?
I think that was the big part of it. Getting the monkey off your back, like you mentioned on Saturday night. And to me, it felt like a piano, and as I'm sure it felt like a piano on our team. To get it off our back, and now they can feel confident that they can go play with anybody. And that's the mindset I've tried to, over the last few weeks, is encourage them to understand that, man, it's 0-0 when you step on the field. Anybody can beat anybody. You see it week in and week out. And why not us? And we saw the improvement over the last couple weeks, and then on Saturday night to finally go get that win and really step over and everybody be all in, doing their job, be doing their assignments, and it created just a feeling we'll never forget. I'll never forget this. In my 30 years of coaching, this will be one of the highlights of my life. I promise you. This will always go down in the back of my mind as probably the biggest win for me as a college coach, regardless if I was an interim head coach or I was an offensive coordinator or position coach. I'll forever remember this. I'll never forget the win first time we beat Florida State when I was the NC State first team to ever go into their stadium and beat them, an ACC team. But this will be right there with it, I promise you. This is something I'll remember the rest of my life.
It's critical not to be satisfied, players.
We're not satisfied, and we mentioned that yesterday. The thing is, we're not satisfied just because we got win. I mentioned that to them. Are we happy with just one? Is this all we're going to live with, or are we just going to say, okay, we got our one, so nobody can say we're the bottom 10 team in the country. Let's go get two. And that was the mindset we talked about yesterday. The next happens to be our next opponent is La Tech, and that's all that matters to us right now. It's about going and getting the next win. Who is it going to be? So that's how we're looking at that. We have a little confidence. Everybody can say, well, you only have one win. How can you build confidence? Well, look how we've played the last 3 weeks. We're playing better. We're playing different. We're playing as a team. We're doing some really positive things. So I think it just bodes well for us if we continue to take care. We took care of the football. It was unfortunate the ball went out of the back of the end zone, but for the most part, we took care of the football. We created some turnovers on defense. We got one on defense for a score. Special teams, we blocked the PAT and able to get 2 points out of it. We had good field position. Those are things that Mean Green football is about. That's what we preach and teach over the last 5-6 years about. That's how Mean Green football is played. It's a complement each other, offense, defense, special teams, and we saw it Saturday night.
Talk about Louisiana Tech. They've got a pretty good record, and a couple of those losses were tight with Western and that one that went triple overtime.
Triple overtime to Kansas State. This is by far one of the, next to West Kentucky, probably the best team in the conference. And to be honest with you, they're really good on defense. I mean, I'm talking really good. They got three candidates for awards, post-award candidates that they pass out at the end of the year. They're strong up front. They can run. I mean, they are athletic as they come. The interior front linemen and the DNs are really special. Vontravius Dora, Vernon Butler, and our two special D linemen. And then the linebacker, Nick Tomlinson. Wow, that's Zach Thomas right there to me. The kid played Texas Tech, played with the Dolphins. That's who he is. I mean, he will strike you, and he plays with low pad level, and he comes after it. He's impressive. The two corners, Barnes and Abraham, two of the best in the conference. I'm telling you, one's up for the can't remember the DB award, but I mean he's up for it. He's one of the candidates up for it. These guys can flat out play, and they play aggressive on defense. They create turnovers. They played Kansas State toe to toe. They were playing with Mississippi State well into the third quarter. They've done some good things. The West Kentucky game, not for a few turnovers. Who never goes the other way? To me, 6-3, nah. That team to me is like 9-0. That's why I look at them. And Coach Holtz has done a great job for them. Done a great job with them. And then offensively, they score early and they score often. I mean, right now they're averaging 40 points a game and 51 points off of turnovers. They're doing some great things offensively, and then they score so fast. I think in the first quarter they've outscored their opponents at home 52-22. So they jump on you fast. And next thing you know, you blink and you're down 14 or 17 points. We can't allow that to happen. So we're going to find some ways to make sure we take care of that. But they've outscored their opponents 177-66. I mean, they're scoring points, and they're creating it off turnovers. So we got to make sure we're taking care of the football and making sure that we're slowing them down a little bit. And we know they're going to score points. It's to try to do our best to keep them off the field, their offense off the field. Driscoll's doing a great job with them at quarterback. And then Dixon, the running back, I mean, they're going to throw the football. They're averaging, over 300 yards passing and 162 or something, close to 500 yards total offense. We have to find a way to slow them down. But Coach Kosh has been with Coach Holtz, so they know each other well. Coach Patrick was with Coach Holtz, so they know each other very well. I'm sure that we'll put a good plan together to give our defense the best opportunity to make sure we slow them down a little bit. And then we got to do a great job on offense, taking care of the football, and we get our opportunities, we need to put it in the end zone.
Why are they so good on rush defense? It seems like they're right up towards the top.
Well, they continued what they did with Manny Diaz in terms of the blitzing and coming from all angles, whether it's an odd front or a four-down front. They're going to find ways to create a mismatch and try to mess with your protection scheme. Once they figure out which way you're sliding your front, or if you're a three-man slide or a four-man slide, or even if you're a five-man slide, they have answers for it. We got to make sure we're mixing up our protections to give ourselves a chance. And I think one thing that we've seen on film is, we got a quarterback there that's pretty elusive that can create plays with his feet. So now maybe the blitz won't come as much, but it may come to try to confuse them too at the same time. So it's kind of a counterbalance. We got to make sure that we have an answer for what they're doing. Last year they came after us. We had open receivers. We didn't hit them. This year we got to make sure that we hit the open receiver when they do blitzes and identify it. And there's some indicators that we've picked up on film through study that I think that if we can see it, that if we have the answers, good things will happen.
Other than Carlos, you've gotten very little production out of the receivers.
Yep.
Are you disappointed in their play, or why is it that no one else is really contributing?
Well, it's not so much I'm upset with the other receivers or I don't feel like they're contributing. It's DeMarcus has got to make sure we're spreading it where it needs to go, because there's oftentimes as a quarterback you get comfortable with one guy, and all our quarterbacks are kind of like that. Where's he at? And then we manipulate Carlos, whether he's inside, then we move him to outside, and through some of the schemes that we're trying, if the defense is going to roll a certain way, we're going to get the one-on-one that we want with Carlos. When we had him inside, oftentimes they were bracketing him and taking him away. We got to find a way to get him the ball. But oftentimes it comes back to the quarterback, making sure that he sees the structure of the defense, and that's where I think DeMarcus has to get better, is seeing where they're rolling the coverage or they're spinning the coverage down, and where the best matchup is man-on-man coverage, to understand that there are other viable options that he needs to go to and do that. But that I saw a little bit at the other night. We got to continue to get better. He needs to get better at that.
Why is the defense getting so much better the last couple of weeks? Is there something you guys are doing different?
Well, the big push has been, rally to the ball, get guys to the ball. Don't stand and watch. Make sure everybody's there. We've been harping on that. I've been harping on that, and I think it just comes with they're becoming more comfortable with Coach Kosh. I think in our defensive staff. When you make a change at coordinator, it takes a while to get comfortable with it, and I think the players are building more confidence in what they're doing defensively, and you see it. But I think the big push is that everybody wants to get in on the play, and that's what good defenses are about. Everybody's on the play. Everybody gets to the ball. All of a sudden the ball strips. One of our players is there. They pick it up, run for a touchdown. That's what it's about, people getting to the ball. Don't be satisfied with someone else making the tackle. You get involved in the play. That's what you see good defensive teams do, that they're always around the ball. They're rallying to the ball. They're not watching to see if somebody makes a tackle. They want to get in and on tackle. And we're seeing that improvement defensively.
Caden Kirby was the only starting offensive lineman to return this year. How has he kind of stepped up and embraced a leadership role in that front end?
Well, I think Caden has accepted that role. I mean, he's been our team, the game captain over the last 3-4 weeks with us, and I think he understands what he needs to do. I'm always on him. He sits next to me at every pregame meal and every Friday night meal, because I'm always watching his weight, about where he needs to be. And I've had many conversations with his mother, Kim, about his weight, that he doesn't get too heavy. And I'm teasing him a little bit too. But, he's accepted that role. And I think he understands, because he is the senior or the veteran in the group, that the calls that he's making, he gets us in the right protection. He sees the indicators where the blitzes are coming, and because of that experience over the last 3 years, he's that quiet leader. He's not the real boisterous leader, but when he says something, the offensive line listen and they lean on him because of his experience.
Are some of your young defensive players starting to come on? I mean, you're playing McNair now, you've got some other guys like cornerbacks who are playing. Are those guys starting to make some contributions?
I'm excited about seeing them on the field. When you look out there and you see them playing, it's just fun to watch because they have no fear. And the more you play, the more confidence you gain. It's like anything. It's anytime you go and do anything. The more I do it, the better I'm going to be. And I know that Nate Brooks has done a tremendous job. I mean, I know he had another pass interference on him and then ticky-tacky or whatever, but it doesn't matter. Like I told him, it doesn't matter. He's at Breakfast Club this morning at 7 o'clock, and I said, you keep playing like you're playing. Just be confident. It doesn't matter. The best corners in the country get PIs. It's going to happen. Richard Sherman, we see it. He gets called. What doesn't matter to me. Throw it my way again. And I think that's what Nate's doing. You saw Chad Davis made some really good plays the other night. I think our young kids are understanding they can contribute. And it's all about the more you play, the more confidence you get. And you see it in their development as they go. But what you really see, what I see as a coach from the sideline is Nate Brooks, how he's excelling at that position. We just got to get some more weight on him. That's why he's in Breakfast Club.
This is your second stint as an interim head coach. We talked a little bit about it last week, but what is it that you've been able to do that's registered so much with these guys to get them playing better, to win in your second stint?
I think they see a guy who truly cares about them, and not that any coach before, Coach Mack didn't, that he loved these kids. Let's be honest, we all know that. But I think what I've done in the locker room, going down out and hanging out with them, putting on the helmet, the shoulder pads and challenging them, and just the excitement and enthusiasm and passion I'm bringing to the locker room or on the practice field, I think they see it's genuine. It's who I am, and they like it, and they're responding to it. It's who I am. I'm not going to change who I am. I'm a person that has great passion, have great love for this university and this program, and I have great love and respect for our players, and I demand them to play it a certain way. And I told them, and we're going to give you everything we've got. I'm going to give you everything we got. In return, just play for each other. And when they've seen it, they've seen the enthusiasm, the emotions on the sideline, jumping up and down, the fist up and it's little things like that have gone a long way. And I won't change that. That's who I am, and I'm not going to change. And I want them to play at that level. I want them to play with that passion and enthusiasm for this sport. It's a fun sport. And it's even funner when you're winning, and they got to taste it Saturday night. Let's go get it again.
What do you see for yourself in the future?
I hope there's an 80 out there that sees a guy who has great passion, that will contribute and bring something to a program, that you can see as an ambassador for the university, that can get kids to play in difficult situations. I haven't done it twice. And I think that I am ready to be a head coach. I think I am a head coach. I've worked extremely hard for this opportunity, and it fell in my lap. The circumstances, obviously not something I wanted, but I'm here in this position, and in my mind, I am the head coach. I may have the interim label or tag, but I'm a head coach, and I work every day at that. That's how I work at it every day. That's why I go to work every day. I'm a head coach. I'm one of the fortunate ones in this country right now to say I am a head football coach. I just hope there's an athletic director or a search firm or search committee that will say, you know what, this guy's got it. This guy has what we're looking for. He has the, charisma or personality or characteristics that we want in our head football coach. And look at the things he's done over the last 6 years in 2 difficult situations and what he was able to do with that team. Now, obviously, we got to win some more games. I get it. I understand that. And that's what I'm trying to do. But I know I'm capable of being a head coach. I know I'm a head coach. And I think that way. And I'm hoping one of these days I get that opportunity to take the interim tag off and somebody will give Coach Canales a chance.
You got some time here left, but are you proud of what you've accomplished now in 2 interim stints?
I am proud of our kids. I'm proud of our staff. I'm proud of this university for not giving up on our players. To see them Saturday night, that the band and the student body, to jump up and down like we were after a victory, like we just won a conference championship, that's what means the world to me. That's what it's all about. Because it's not about me, guys. It's not. It's about the guys downstairs in that locker room that mean the world to me. And I told them I'm getting a chance to live my dream. as a head coach.
Coach,
Yes.
when you took over, you instituted a few things, mainly the social media ban. Obviously, evident by Twitter that ban's over. How did
Yes.
the players respond to that, and what was your logic behind the ban?
Well, the first thing it was, there were some comments. There were some really negative comments. I mean, you should have seen some of the things I was getting. Hey, if you, this is probably one of the best ones. It really cut me pretty good. But he said, if you were as good as calling plays as you were as Googling motivational quotes, we wouldn't be in this situation. That cut hard. That cut really hard. And I haven't forgotten who it was who sent it to me. Okay, I have it up in my garage as my motivation every morning at 4:30. Okay, I haven't forgotten that. But the thing was, people were taking shots at our program, at our coaching staff, at our players, and our players were responding in a way that came across negatively. And I told our guys yesterday, I said, when we took the ban off, was you can tweet anything you want as long as it's positive about our team, positive about our team we're going to play or maybe playing, but nothing negative. If somebody says something about our coaching staff, our teammates, don't worry about it, because the people that talk behind your back are there for a reason. And I think they got the message. I want everything to be positive. I don't want any more negativity. I don't want any negativity, and I think that just created it. So when we took it off, that was the mindset. So I just didn't want that negativity out there, because all we're doing was fueling the fire or feeding the bad wolf, and I want to feed the good wolf. I want to feed positivity. That's what I wanted, positive reinforcement on who we are and the things that we can do, because we knew we had a good football team, and if it put it together, could really go get some wins. And so that's why the ban was on, and I had to stay off it. I got probably 400 messages on Twitter that I need to go back and start watching film, and direct messages that, hey, Coach Canales, will you look at my film? Hey, Coach Canales, look at my film. And I couldn't look at it. But now I'll be there at night watching film and giving it to coaches. Hey, please look at this guy, because we got to continue to recruit. We got to get some players in here that can help us win football games. So now the ban's off, and that was the logic behind it. I thought it was the right thing to do.
College kids love Twitter, obviously. Did any of the players respond negatively to it, or did most of them just?
At first, they were kind of like, what, Coach? We can't be doing that. And I said, look, you can tweet, because you're going to tweet. I know you're going to direct message each other. You're going to direct message your family, your girlfriends, your mom, your dad. I get that. But I don't want anything regarding football, our team, or our opponent. That was the ban. And so then if I asked them to do that, I had to live the same way. And so now that when I said in the locker room, okay, the tweets are off. I mean, the ban's off. You can tweet all you want. Just make sure it's positive. Someone asked me, I think one of you guys asked me, what's going to be my first tweet? And then my tweet was to how proud I was of our staff and our players. And then I went on a roll there later that night as I went. And I continue to go right now, because I have a message. And I think the message is about there's so many negative things in this world, and people are always constantly looking for that negativity. I want to send a message of positivity. I want to send a positive message about there are good things. There are some great messages and quotes by great people, not just coaches or athletes, but people who have influenced our world and have been a great mentor or example about what life is all about. And so I always tell our kids, and I know you guys have heard me say this, be the example, not the distraction. And I think that's real important for them to understand. When you go to practice, be an example of a good teammate. Be an example of a good player. Not the distraction wearing the wrong shoes. Not the distraction not wearing a UNT gear. That's what's important to me. So when you send those messages out there, things that I'm putting out there, it's about how can I positively influence a young man who may be 16, 17, 18-year-old kid, or a parent who's got a son's being recruited by North Texas or another university. They can say, I want my son with this coach. I want my son with this coach who understands the balance of football and education and social life and religion. And I think that's all I'm trying to send, is that these are all good things. And I think we can do that, especially in the role that we are, especially the role that I am. I'm an ambassador for this university. I got to make sure I send out positive things about this campus, this university, our program, our staff, our team. That's what my job is. And I just believe that's what you need to do. Guys, I appreciate it. Have a great day, and we'll see you down in Ruskin, right?